supreme athlete. His comps in his top 10 comps on a comparison tool, Brock Bowers makes an appearance, just to give you an idea of his, ridiculous athleticism. And he was a running back in high school, ran for 2,000 yards as a senior. One of the most fun, I think I sounded out the other day, it's got to be Jezio Lokowski, which is very fun. And he is a total project. He's probably the most bust-worthy of this entire list, just because he could be a nothing. He didn't even play tight end in high school. So it makes sense he went G5, because someone took a chance on his athleticism and stuff, but we have no idea if he can play tight end. We don't know if he can block some DE coming around the corner or whatever. But supreme athlete. His comps in his top 10 comps on a comparison tool, Brock Bowers makes an appearance, just to give you an idea of his, ridiculous athleticism. And he was a running back in high school, ran for 2,000 yards as a senior. He also did catch there's some evidence of receiving on his tape. I mean, he caught 14 passes. There's some one-handed stuff. I will say what I'm looking for is his transition from the catch to upfield. Brandon Phelps does this really, really well. The gold standard of this, and Brian Hartline said it himself, was JSN coming out of high school. And Hartline describes it really well, but it's basically like you catch the ball and your momentum does not get changed. You are continuing upfield as you catch the ball. I think he does a little of that on some of his receptions. And like I said, Brandon Phelps does that too. It's something I paid attention to ever since Brian Hartline said it, and he's like the best receiving recruiter in the country. So TBD on if he's a tight end. I'll just say that, but he's a really, really good athlete, and he's very, very fun. And I think a team like Southern Miss may want to, use him as a gadget player right away. I think he could get on the field, just because I think getting the ball in his hands is going to be good for Southern Miss.
I mean, I can see him running down the seam and, G5.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, you may get 3 or 4 years of G5 production at a tight end, which is hard to find anyway. So I think he's a pretty fun guy.
Love it. Kyle, did you have anything on Jezio Lokowski?
This is another one that's just such a fun little grab bag. No idea what's going to happen, but he's got, decent size. He's 6'4". It's tall enough for a tight end. And just looks so supremely athletic. And he's playing football in Mississippi, but their Hartfield Academy is one of the best teams in Mississippi. And he was a huge reason as to why, obviously, with 2,000 rushing yards. Tennessee sniffed around here a little bit and almost offered him. So I think he's super interesting. I think he's a prime candidate. If he flashes, route running and receiving ability after this transition to tight end as a freshman, I think he's moving up to the SEC. He's got that kind of, athleticism and ability with the ball in his hands. It's just going to come down to can he run routes well? Can he develop in that area of the field? And if he can, I think Power 5, Power 4 offers are going to come from the transfer portal next year.
Yeah. And I would say as well, anyone listening to this, this is probably not a draftable player in most formats, but keep your eye on him, keep your ear to the ground. A lot of these guys are at the very least, listen in spring. Damian Martinez, I know I've said his name a lot, but he walked onto campus in spring and everyone's like, oh, he's our guy. So if you hear the name here, you've heard it on the official, you hear it on this podcast, and you hear some stuff coming out in spring, that is a huge green flag. Go get these guys. Don't wait. So if just being familiar with some of these names and you start hearing some buzz in camp, it helps you pull the trigger faster, which beats your teammates or league mates.
Yeah, love it. He's definitely could be the sort of guy that's going to average 15 yards after the catch for reception. If he gets the ball, so moves well for a big guy too. So love it.